Hey everybody, it's Rachel Youngson here from useplr.com and wholefoodplr.com. We are here with our weekly PLR Power Hour. This is where we ask questions, get resources, talk about how we're using our PLR, and more than anything, we put our PLR into action. Some folks decide to take this hour to turn off any other distractions and just work on their PLR, and that's totally okay as well. So today's topic is changes. And I don't know if you noticed, but like in the email, I put like cha-cha-cha changes, like the Shrek thing. Uh, it's just what I do. But anyway, as you guys know, there's, while we're recording this, there's like this whole health fun thing going on in the world, and it's causing a lot of us to pivot in our businesses. And we've talked a lot about that recently, the pivoting and how sometimes, like when things happen in business or things happen that are unexpected, you kind of have to shift gears and do things in a different way. And like right now, in my community, one of our local businesses had an unexpected fire recently. A adorable little place called Kim's Key Lime Pies. And so they now can't get into their restaurant. We had another place, seafood place my husband loves, that also caught on fire. I don't know what's going on, but either way. And then my favorite coffee house just had a car driven through it this morning. So, I mean, all of these people were already in this really crazy place, right? So, hey, Miss Brenda, good to see you, my friend. So we're already in this really crazy space right now, right? And now all of these people who are being affected by this unfortunate and unexpected set of circumstances on top of this health scare, you know, they're having to now reevaluate and figure out what they're going to do. So I believe the pie place is doing some catering or something like that, but they're not able to work in their establishment from what I understand. The coffee place is just not going to be able to be open, and they had to close their doors for at least a week, they said. And the seafood place is now doing catering through a food truck. So, I mean, all these local businesses kind of had to juggle a little bit and figure things out and switch the way they were doing things. And that's kind of where we are as well. Hey, Kim. Hi, Jen. Or I'm sorry. Hi, Jen. Good to see you today. That's kind of where we are right now as well. With the business as a whole, with the power hours, with the way we're doing our PLR store, we're trying to pivot and accommodate and make concessions and change what needs to be changed. And I urge you, as I go over what we're changing, to think about your own businesses and think about what you might need to change or what might serve you best. I was talking to one of my clients the other week, and we were talking about prioritizing those money makers and having those be the top of your list every day, the things that are going to make you money. So for me, typically, my email setup, I do that at the end of the day, but that's just because it's a real time suck and I hate doing it. But everything else is done as soon as I get in. Anything that's going to generate any kind of profit, anything that's going to generate profits right now, of course, go up higher. That would be things on your email, anything that you're like, maybe you're JVing on something, maybe you're promoting something big, anything like that, anything that you're releasing, that all goes up top. And then future profits goes next. And that's things like back-end emails, courting affiliates, products that you want to create, but they're not working in your system right now. There are things that you have on the back burner that you maybe want to create next after you get this product done. Any of that kind of goes in, for me, goes in next. And, you know, then you kind of go down that way. I mean, we have tons of stuff to do in business. We all know it. I mean, you can never run out of stuff to do in the office, quite seriously. But just that simple switch, I think, is going to hopefully make a big impact for everyone, because I know it's made a big impact for me. And so, this is what we're doing. Some of these things are going to be good. Some of these things you might not feel comfortable with, and that's okay. And, you know, the biggest thing to remember is that I love this being a connected community. So even if something is going to happen that you might be like, oh my gosh, know that you can still always reach out to me. I mean, that's what I'm here for. You're part of my community, and my job, for lack of better words, is to help you and be of service to you however I can in terms of growing your business and using your PLR and, you know, navigating your way through things. So the first thing I wanted to tell everybody is we are moving into single session coaching, and that will be $125 for 1 hour of coaching. If there's no commitment with that, there's no recurring months or anything like that. So if you choose to do that, just let me know. I'm always in the group. The group isn't going to change. You always have my access to me on Facebook, or PM me, or email me at rachel@uspLR. None of that's going to change. The things that we do in the group, as far as the little challenges like the blogging challenge that we're doing right now, that's not going to change. But if you want one-on-one coaching where we look at the back end of your business, we look at what PLR might suit your business, how to tweak that for your business, how to grow your visibility using PLR and that kind of stuff, that's where that fee comes in. Now, if you're one of my current coaching students and you're listening to this, don't worry, this does not apply to you, and we will be talking about our own changes in the mastermind group after this meeting. The next thing, and I think everybody's going to kind of jump for joy with this a little bit, power hours are going to stay on a weekly format for right now. Couple of little subtopics here. First thing is, they might not always be an hour because, as you know, I don't always, sometimes they're just check-ins. We are going to try to bring back past guests and that kind of thing, but they might not always run an hour, and that's kind of, we're going to keep the title as Power Hour because we are still devoting an hour of the time. In other words, if we wrap up, let's say 20 minutes in, you have questions, you need guidance, you want to just hang out for a bit and you know, get some feedback from me or the rest of the group, that hour is slotted. You know, I'm not doing anything else during that hour. But if we're 20 minutes in and all your questions have been answered. Hi, Miss Brenda. Thank you for the thumbs up. If we're 20 minutes in, all your questions have been answered, you feel like you're doing strong, you know where you want to go next, and you don't have anything else to say, yeah, we can wrap, and that's okay. You know that I'm always available to you. That's the main takeaway I want everybody to remember, is I'm always available to you. I'm here for you. I'm restructuring things because I am pivoting. I'm making changes. As I have to right now. And that doesn't mean that I'm any less here for you. It just means I'm trying to find a balance here between taking care of my financials and my business and taking care of my community. And I'm not saying one is necessarily more important than the other, because you guys are very important to me, but it's what I have to do right now. Oh, we're going to be converting the Power Hours into a podcast. We are creating a Use PLR podcast. So anything that you miss with the Power Hours, you'll be able to listen to not only in the group, but also on like Stitcher and iTunes and all that other whatever. That's in the back end being worked right now. So stay tuned for more information on that. We are going to have, just so you know, in case you ever decide you want to do something like this with your webinars or anything like that, anything that's already past stated or anything that we're doing from here on out, we're going to have a section in the show notes that links to the actual YouTube video. And the reason is because if we do a screen share for any reason, if we're walking through something, then we don't have to worry about just stripping the audio and throwing it into a podcast, because the video portion is going to be in those show notes. So we can do it all in one step still, and that's the importance of it. So we are going to be doing that, and that's going to be pretty fun. Power hours, we're now going to be open to all guests in terms of if you want to speak on a power hour, feel free to let us know. We're working on that in the back end. I'll let you know as soon as those forms are up. But essentially, we're going to have a form on our Use PLR page. And if you say to yourself, you know, geez, I really want to do XYZ. I want to, I can show this to the group, or, you know, I want a way that I can teach the group something and shout out my business and what I do. Let us know. Fill out the form. And our goal is, if it's a good match for the community as a whole, and it's a good match for you, that, you know, we allow people to come on to the to these power hours as guests, and you can feature, of course, your website and what you're doing and that kind of thing. And that will, of course, go into not only our podcast, but the YouTube and on the group where we hold the replay, have the replays. And as you know, we are going through blog posts. We're creating blog posts for each of these power hours now too. So we're going to get a lot of traction for you that way, in addition to, of course, emailing about it and putting it on all of our social media. So anyway, if any of that sounds like something that you want to or are interested in doing, just know that it's no longer a situation where we have to tap you and say, hey, I think you could help our group. You can now come to us and say, hey, I think I have something that your group might like. Which is really great. And it's very important to let you know that if you've done a power hour before, if you've been an expert guest before, you can still come back. You can even come back and just refresh the things that you've said before, or we can do like a part 2 to what you've done before, or we can do we can just say that it's a bit of an updated version of the same topic that you've done before, and that way you can use your same notes from last time and just, you know, maybe tweak them or add a little thing or two. You know, it's an easy way for you to return and do whatever you need to do with that. Hey, Miss Charlene, my friend. So that's that's um, that's another change that we're going to be making. So just a quick recap so far. Coaching sessions are going to be $125 per hour, single hour, no membership. Power hours are going to stay on a weekly basis. That might change when the team goes back to school and everything else shifts again, because I will be accommodating his schedule as well as my schedule. So we're just going to have to see where all that fits. But for now, it's going to be staying on a weekly basis. We are starting that podcast, the Use PLR podcast, based on reformatting these power hours. And we are going to have a section on our website where you can say, hey, I want to be a guest for your power hour. Doesn't matter who you are. We'll review everything. And, you know, if we're a good connection, then we will definitely take advantage of that, because I really like the community being able to give back to the community, and I love people in our community being able to showcase themselves to others in our community. So the form on our site, it's not going to be something that you see me post like on all of my social media platforms. It's going to be something that you and the Facebook group know about. It's going to be something that is likely going to go in an email or two, just because so many people who are in the Facebook group don't get a chance to listen to the power hours, but they do read those notes and they do read the email notes. So let's see. Okay, Whole Food PLR. If you're one of our clients over at Whole Food PLR, we want you to know that we are shifting from specifically paleo to healthy eating as a whole. So essentially what this means is no processed foods, no sugars. It does follow the paleo guidelines in that sense of it being very clean eating. However, it also will allow for grains. So it's kind of a merger of whole foods and what that encompasses, and paleo foods and what that encompasses. The reason that we're doing that is because we're basically trying to widen our audience and the amount of affiliates that are able to promote for us and that kind of thing, and goes back to, again, to that whole pivoting that we're doing. Let's see. So that shift is going to be coming up pretty soon here. And just as a heads up, our next whole food release is going to be healthy eating at home, and that should be coming up beginning of May. And by this shift, just so you know, working your own businesses, by doing a shift like this, we're anticipating being able to get projects out quicker, because if you've noticed, we've been playing with our format for the last couple of months, and the packages we've released, we've been playing with what goes into those releases, and now we have what we feel is a good formula. So that should help us get the products out faster, reach a wider audience, because we're opening our niche up. And I know it's a little bit ironic because usually we say drill that niche down, but we've already got some customers here and we've already got a client base. So we're trying to open it up and expand on that existing client base. And that might be something that you want to think about with your own businesses, just as an FYI. We have some other stuff. Just let me find my place. And that's it. We're still going to be, that is it actually. We're still going to be doing our challenges as we see fit. We're still going to be doing things as a group. We're going to still shout out our stuff. We're still going to be meeting for power hours. Once everything changes, we might have to adapt that a little bit. We might have to see kind of how many people are coming in wanting to say they're going to be guests. What is the audience feeling like they need to be well served right now? Is it beneficial to us? You know, in other words, if we're not teaching you something of value, and we could be in that space of time creating a product that's going to be of value to you, or doing something with, like for instance, the blogging challenge that is going to be of value to you, you know, what's going to be most beneficial as a whole. We're going to be putting a question in the group too, just so that you guys can kind of let us know where you are, what you're thinking, what you need from us, and that way I can navigate that and figure out what I should do with that group moving forward to help you guys like be the best you can be without joining the army. Anyway. My poor husband, he's in here while I'm doing this, and he rolls his eyes at me like 100 times a week. I have to tell you, he's adorable, but yeah, I really give him a run for his money. I always tell people I am the Lucy to his Desi, because he's very calm and rational, and I'm always like breaking things and losing important things and locking myself out of places, but it is what it is. Hey Marie, good to see you today, my friend. Okay, so let's talk, guys. What does everybody think? Does anyone have any questions? Marie, I remember you. It's really exciting to see you here today. Thank you for coming in and joining us. I appreciate that. Does anyone have any questions or anything that they want to talk about? Any concerns? Did I scare anybody today? If I did, please let me know, because the biggest thing I want is for everyone to know that my goal is to make sure everybody is supported, and you know, we're doing a lot of growth as a community, and I want to keep that going. But like everybody, I also answer to somebody, and my business coach and my accountant would both kill me if I didn't make sure that I made the proper adjustments to keep myself afloat as well, just like everybody else, if that makes sense without sounding selfish. And of course, changing the time, if that works for everybody, or whatever everybody needs, is what I'm really here to serve. Okay, Jen Brockman, would you have anything you'd like to say, smart girl? Over here blowing up my chat. I'm finally done. I'm open to everybody. Charlene says, regarding your non-member coaching, what will you focus on with the coaches? The coaching sessions, I'll be focusing on looking at the back end of your business. I'll be focusing on like helping you figure out, A, is there any PLR that you could be using that you're not using? Do you have any PLR on your hard drive that fits in with the scope of your niche? And how are you repurposing that, and how can you repurpose that more? What, B, your visibility. How are you getting visibility? Where are you struggling with that? And is there any way that PLR can jump in there and help that? Might not be. We don't always, it's not always just centered around PLR. There might be other things that we can do to boost your visibility, and we'll be talking about that as well. And we come up with a game plan of what needs to happen now. What should be your overall and short term. This is what we need to do. This is the next step to kind of getting things up and in place, and maybe getting a process for that PLR in place as well. Does anybody else have any questions for me today? Jen says, I'm not feeling well, or I'm not feeling well, or I'd show my face and give you heck. Oh, Jen, she's like the heckler. If you're like a comedian, and you have that one person in the audience that you want to kick out of the audience, but in reality, they're kind of making the whole show more fun. That's Jen. So does everybody feel comfortable? Can you just throw like a yes or something in the chat box? And I do want to say I'm sorry for the, if you can hear the lawnmower behind me. Everybody's home now, so people are doing things at like these times that they usually don't do it. Carol says it sounds fine to me. Kim says yes. Charlene says, I like that you're starting a podcast. Thank you. Me too. I'm excited. And the cool thing is, I'm so happy that I'm just using these hours as the podcast, because obviously because I don't have to set out another hour of my time, which I'm really excited about. Jen says those sound like some good updates for you and for us. Brenda says everything sounds reasonable and smart. Thanks, Brenda. Brenda and I are in a mastermind together. I see her lovely face every Monday. She always makes me smile. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate it. So the biggest takeaway is, of course, we're still here, even if hopefully it won't happen, but I mean, even if things happen in such a way that we don't do the power hours anymore, maybe we just do podcasts, or maybe we just do challenges within the group. The main thing I want everyone to know is I'm still here for you. And even if we don't meet on like a weekly basis, we're still going to be meeting. And even if we don't do things in the same format, maybe 6 months from now, we're still going to, I'm not going anywhere, it's not, the community is still going to be growing and things like that. So, one last thing I did want everybody to know is at some point in the next, I'd say 6 weeks, we're going to be looking for an intern for the power hours. And essentially what would happen is the intern would be screening the submissions that we get in, uploading the Zoom file to YouTube, taking care of the show notes, and pulling the feed for the podcast. All of that is the podcast stuff, especially. The podcast has not been set up at all. We're getting that worked on right now. And I don't know how to do some of that stuff myself yet. So once we figure that out, once I figure it out, then we're going to have the opportunity for an intern to come in. And who we would be looking for is someone who wants to maybe reach their audience with webinars and podcasts, someone who wants to get more visibility in the group, someone who maybe thinks that they have a niche that would really serve the group as well, because if you do for us, right, we're going to really be scratching your back as well, and promoting the heck out of you and trying to find you the best JV partners and that kind of stuff. So just put that in your ear. And today I wanted you guys to know that, hi Marie, it's good to see your face, my friend. We had a very good conversation in email this week. You made my day. Marie said she had gotten one of the bonuses from Jen Anderson's recent health and wellness bundle. And she did something that was super smart, and not a lot of people do it. I offered a free pack of her choice, and she actually dug through the site a little bit and found a mega pack, which is very clever. And I'm so glad she did that, because obviously now she's got a ton of PLR. And also then she wound up going for getting a few freebies too. So um, just a little tidbit for all those other PLR shoppers out there. But let's move on into our blogging challenge. If anyone has any questions they think of after the fact, please throw them in the chat and we'll get to them. How's everybody doing with the blogging? As you know, we're only doing like one to two posts a week. I only did my one last week, and I'm going to do another one after today. My accountability, of course, is to have it ready for Thursday for everybody. And how is everyone else? Are you guys finding like that it's hard to find topics? Are you finding that it's hard to find space in your day for that? Are you finding that it's easy? Do you think it's enjoyable or a necessary evil? That's a great question. um, um, how are you guys coming with that? Please let me know in the chat box. I did want to let you know one last thing. I know I'm awful chatty today, but the other thing I wanted you to know, just as an FYI, we're going to be promoting something every week too. Some things are going to be free, some things are going to be paid, some things are going to be mine, some things are not going to be mine. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that as well to basically as a way to get the to generate some money for the hour, basically. Doesn't have to, like, it doesn't even have to be now. Like, people are going to watch that YouTube video, people are going to listen to the replay, hear the podcast, that kind of thing. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm attending this, I have to buy something. No, definitely not that. But that's what we're planning on doing now. And that way, anyone who clicks a link or anything like that, they come into our space. They get linked to me. Carol says, blog posts, in regards to blog posts, it's a great incentive to get a post on every week. Just completed mine for this week earlier today. Way to go, Carol. I'm very proud of you. That's like I know, like, when I get mine done, it's like a weight off my shoulders. And like, it's kind of like the rest of the day just like sails through. Hey, Jay, good to see you, my friend. So we were just talking about our blog post challenge and where we are with that. We were going over some changes that we were having to the use PLR stuff, and I'll definitely recap that for you before we wrap. Jen says promoting something every week is like sponsorship. Exactly. Yeah, it really is. It's like well, yeah, sponsorship. You said it. You got it. Jen says, I used to run a podcast, so I know. Good job, Jen. That's impressive. See, you may be getting questions from me. Brenda says, got one blog in final draft. Good job, Brenda. Good job, my friend. And, just as a reminder to anyone listening after the fact, these are posts that we're trying to make it as stress-free on us as possible. We're not trying to hammer out these super long blog posts. You can if you want to. I mean, it's your blog, and at the end of it, you're going to be creating a freebie from that content that you're making. So however you choose to do it is up to you. But I'm a lazy girl, and anyone who's done these power hours with me for a while knows that I love being lazy, and sometimes that's not so great, but because I teach PLR, it's kind of great, right? Because for me, what I'm going to do is I'm just taking the power hours and I'm turning them into blog posts with notes and attaching the video and that kind of thing. And that's it. Last one took me like 42 minutes, but in the space of that, I was creating a template. I was creating the actual blogging image that I'm going to be using on the Facebook page. you know, and that kind of stuff. So it wasn't like, I don't anticipate going forward that it's going to take 42 minutes. You know, I think it's just going to take like maybe half hour of my week. So, um, and Jen says, use your PLR for the posts. Amen, my friend. That is the greatest thing to do. If you want to do, if you're like, especially if you're having a head herder, you don't know what to do, use your PLR, turn it into checklists if you want to do that. Turn it into like how-to steps, anything like that. And remember, at the end of like a month, 6 weeks, we're going to have like 4 to 6 blog posts. And then we're going to turn that into a lead magnet. We're going to turn that into a report that we can then put on our site for free. And everybody is going to win for that. You know, you're going to get a product, because even free products are products. You're going to get blog posts out, which is going to put content on your site. And we have a thread that goes out every Thursday where you get to talk about your blog and you get to share your latest post. And the biggest thing is, I encourage you to keep an eye on that thread and like the post that, comment on all the blogs that are in your niche that serve you. And that way you guys will start to build those connections. Those possible JV connections are so important. You know, if you're in the self-help niche and I'm in the self-help niche, then maybe some guest blogging would be great. Some affiliate love if either of us does affiliate marketing, even if we don't have an affiliate program. I mean, now I don't know about you guys, but from the PLR seller's point of view, things aren't going out as quickly. Like my inbox used to be really cram full of people promoting things, or I'm sorry, people promoting their own products and saying, hey, this is coming out. And I'm still getting those, but not as much. So yeah, there are times when for my email, I'm like, what do I want to tell them about? How great would it be if someone else said, hey, I can do a blog post for you, or hey, here's a product that I have that serves your niche, and then you can chat about it on your email, or you guys both do that for each other, help build your list passively, that kind of thing. It's always going to go back, for those who are newer to these podcasts or these power hours, let's see what I'm doing. It's always going to go back to, how can we make your life easier, and what can we do, especially right now, to help build our community and help each other in the community, and people in the community who are in the same niche, help them find each other and grow in their niches. So that's really going to be big moving forward, just like it is now. All right, my friends, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Does anybody else have anything they want to chat about today? If you do, just throw something in the chat, and I will get you unmuted. If you want to lurk today, feel free to let me know that in the chat as well. For those who are newer to these power hours, some folks choose to just come on and listen, and that's totally fine. But they'll put like lurk in the chat box so that I know that they might not even be, like their volume might not even be up. They might just be using this time to work on their PLR. Oh, let's see. Marie says lurking today, but I have a suggestion. Hey, my friend, please feel free to put it in the chat box if you'd like. If that's easier for you, you can just put that in the chat box for me. Is it possible for you to put the meeting number on your post on Facebook so we can use our already installed Zoom? Oh, you mean like the phone number or the room number maybe? Huh, I will make a note of that. See, thank you. Okay, yeah, that's definitely possible, my friend, and I will make sure that we start doing that. I was telling them that I was telling the early birds today, right before we started, that Zoom is being very finicky with me since they've done a few recent updates, and like they try to kick me out not once the meeting has started, but like they'll try not to let me in my own room. They'll also try to act like I'm a guest and not a host. So it's been really fun. But yeah, we could definitely do that. Let's see. Carol says, I'm listening. The blog post I did today was based on PLR. I had augmented with some of my own ideas, made it easy to get it done. Way to go, Carol. That's the way to do it, my friend. Perfect. That's great. I love it. I love it. Marie says, thank you. Jay says, lurk dog. Busy with PLR, no chance to blog. No worries. No worries, my friend. It's, these things that we do, like these member challenges and things, they're not a requirement by any means. I tell everyone, I always like to joke, we're not going to like take away Christmas or something if you choose not to do something that we're offering the group. But I do really take the group very seriously in terms of the fact that it's my group, and it's a community that I've built, and I'm trying to help. My goal is to help the community be as strong as they can be. So if that serves you, it does, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Charlene actually might not remember this, but when we first, when I was like 3 or 6 months into the group, we had like a few hundred followers and that kind of thing. And we were talking in an email, and I kept saying our group, because I do look at the community as our community. And she was like, hey, this is your group. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I should throw that my instead of our. And it's so important, like that mind shift, how that changes things. But yeah, she was totally right. And once I started to realize just what that kind of, like that difference between saying, hey, look, this is our group. How do you want to run our group? And hey, this is my group, it kind of makes it more personal in a way. Charlene says, oh yes, I remember. It was time to stop. It was time to step up as the leader. Yes, it was. It's hard sometimes, I think. And it's funny because I even catch myself now, like when I'm writing emails, I'll say things like are or we, like we're doing this now. And it's so different than holding your power and saying, I'm doing this now. Like I'm releasing the healthy eating PLR instead of we are releasing the healthy PLR over at Whole Food PLR. It's definite mind shift. Speaking of mind shifts, I wanted to let everyone know today that today's recommendation is going to be the Dare You to Track challenge by my business coach, Kelly McCausey. It is a free challenge. It is a wonderful challenge. I love it. She goes through a book, which I don't want to give away the book name because I really don't want everybody to not have to do the challenge or not feel obligated to at least check out what Kelly is talking about. But she has a book that you read as a group. And I like this part. If you're too lazy to read, like me, she has notes on the back end, like little video recaps. So you can just follow the video recaps and take your own notes and go about your life. It's Dare You to Track. It's tracking your time, figuring out where your strongest points are in your day, where you're functioning at your best, and figuring out how all those things fit in. So it's I will get you a link right in that chat box. And again, it is a free challenge. It is evergreen. So you don't have to start or finish at any certain point. For me, they did this challenge as a group like a month ago, and I'm just now starting to get on board. So, I mean, that's always good, especially for me because I don't do well with timetables. So, if you want to see a little bit of it, I can definitely do a quick screen share. And of course, if you have any questions about anything, let me know. Oh, and I do have one other thing I want to talk to you about real quick before we go, and that's going to be another good thing, so don't worry about that. I think I'm done I'm done giving bad news. There's no more things that might throw a wrench in your day today. So anyway, this is the Dare You to Track Challenge by Kelly. So all talking about how to organize your time, how to structure your time. This is the book that she was talking about. It's a good book, but I have a habit, if it's not true crime, I tend not to read it all the way through. I don't know. Like, I buy cookbooks and all this and self-help books. It all look really good, but if it's not People magazine or a true crime book, I tend not to read it all the way through. So for me, those little video recaps are super important. But she talks all about your zones and where you're gonna be able to evaluate which zone you are using, how you're using your zones and that kind of thing. So you have competency, excellence, and genius. She has this great little tool that I use all the time now, and she uses it to clock her time and what she's doing. And I started using it, and I will be more than happy to, if you join the challenge, or if you want to PM me later on or outside of this recording space, to let you know what that is. I just don't want to feel comfortable sharing it on the live call, just because I really want to encourage people to go check out what she's talking about, check out what she's doing. It is very important what she's doing. So, and there she is. She actually is also doing Twitch right now, which is really cute, because we were on our meeting the other day, and somebody, Twitch user, called her like a fun, sassy grandma who plays video games. And I was like, that's me. I'm not a grandma yet, but I mean, someday I will be. And I love video games. So anyway, so that's my spiel. The last thing I wanted to tell you before we wrap is that we are going to be doing, we are going to try to set up a form on the site where you can answer 3 questions in the form of a video. And that way it can be kind of like a video interview. And what we'll do with those is, of course, have them in the Facebook group and give you a chance to basically shout out your business, shout out your website, and that kind of thing. Another way for you to kind of promote yourself while adhering to the group guidelines of not just dropping links all over the place. And we are going to try to have that like in the next month. I'm not sure how that's going to work, honestly. I have someone else working on it for me because I don't want to deal with it. So, more to follow on that. But if it does come together, though, it would be a really nice way for you to be, hey, this is who I am. This is what my niche is. This is how I'm using PLR. This is where you can find me. Ta-da! This is what I'm working on. We're also going to be able to say, this is the product that I'm working on that I love. That's mine. And, just kind of let yourself be known a little bit. And that's going to be kind of like the Power Hour guest. It's going to be an open invitation. It's not going to be something like that we're going to pressure anybody to do or reach out to anybody to do, but just know, if you choose to do it, if you feel like you want a little bit more visibility, we will treat it like these Power Hour calls, where it will be on our social media and on our, I don't know about YouTube, but it'll be on our social media, it'll be on our email, it'll be housed in the group. So, Jay says, hope everyone is safe and well and has an awesome week. Thank you very much. I second that. I hope everyone is doing great. Hey, Jay, are you in our Facebook group? I tried to see last week and I couldn't tell. So I'm just going to throw the link in the chat box just in case you need it. If you don't, it's totally okay. And Maria, I believe you're in there. I believe you're in our group, but yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, great. All right, everyone. So if you have any questions, you know where to reach me on the group, tag me in something, don't send me a PM unless we're friends, because sometimes I don't always get to see them because Facebook sometimes hates me. But Rachel@useplr.com. All right, folks, have a great week. Goodbye. Have a wonderful and productive and fun rest of your week, and we will check in on Thursday with our blogs. If you have them, share them and shout them out. All right, friends, have a good one.